Good. Right, let's go through the WAP questions. So Alexander said, unrelated, blah, 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 most related to WAP business. Do you still plan to own a tech firm, accounting firm, marketing firm, etc.? Yes, I do. I 100% do. If I get my little doodle pad out there. Let's get a random whiteboard. And by the way, Microsoft Whiteboard has regressed. They've just done an update, and even if you try and find a backdated version, it's just absolutely crap now. This app used to be awesome, and now it's laggy. It's Microsoft shit. Anyway, so basically, what I always have done, or I've tried to do, or what I am doing, is to have 3 separate groups of companies. So you have a lifestyle group, whether it's one business or a bunch of businesses, and that basically pays for your life. You know, salary, dividends, etc., to cover your lifestyle, to live the life that you want. Then you have a growth group. So this is something where you're looking for crazy growth, and basically it's stuff that you want to exit. Not, it's not one that you're going to have for the next 20, 30 years or whatever. You could easily have a boutique lifestyle business that you run for 10, 20, 30 years because it just pays your bills. But yeah, growth, you have 1 or 2. These are the fun ones that you try and exit within a 5 to 10 year time frame. And then my enabler group. So as you know, I'm crazy. I think I'm going to live many hundreds of years, because in our lifetime, over the next 20 years, we will get into the situation where you can become digitally immortal, where you can effectively upload your mind. I'm not talking about your soul or anything, but you can upload your consciousness / mind to the cloud. Now, when that happens, it won't be for the masses. It'll be for billionaires, millionaires, billionaires. If you can pay for it, you'll be able to upload your mind to the cloud, and that will act as a form of life insurance, or you can effectively be omnipresent, because wherever the internet is, your mind could be, all that sort of stuff. So I think I will be living and operating for hundreds of years, long after my biological vessel has deteriorated, i.e. my body. Therefore, I will be in business and I will trade till the day I die or I get deleted, right? So this is where I am approaching life. This is one big computer game. I want to get that power up, which enables me to play this computer game for as long as possible. So, using first principle thinking, if I'm going to be alive for at least another 100, 200 years, and I know I will trade and I will be in business during that time, I want to have something that will bypass as many hurdles as possible. So if I'm going to be in business doing all of this sort of stuff, I want an accounting firm, I want a marketing firm, I want a PR firm, I want a insolvency practitioner firm, I want a tech company, or more importantly, a R&D tech company. I want, or an R&D tech company in fields that I want to be nailing. So CRISPR, Internet of Things, or Internet of Everything's, 3D printing, nanotech, like that will hopefully be a big group. Business services, did I say law firm? I can't remember. Definitely 100% a law firm, etc, etc. So there's going to be, I can't remember off the top of my head. Oh, in a construction firm, blah blah blah. So I want all of these enablers so that in the future, if there is something I want to jump on, I can do it. I can then parachute this whole company into the target company or whatever to help pimp up this company and not have any hindrances. An IPO listing firm, or it'll probably be like a crypto type ICO type thing. So I want that. That way there is nothing stopping you from doing something. So if all of a sudden there's some brand new technology or whatever, I can do it, and then funding won't be an issue. So that is what I'm working towards, and I'm never going to complete it. It's like an ongoing thing. Luckily, I've got a few of these ticks already done. Which is why my partnership with Steve, I don't know if Steve's here today, my new business partner, we have basically we're going 50-50 on freaking everything because I think we're on the same wavelength. But yeah, that's where I am approaching the world of business, because I just want to be able to do stuff and not be hindered. Like I speak to a whole bunch of new business owners all the time, or people that want to get into business, but they have so many hurdles in front of them. Like they want to do this and that, but just doing the basics, like, you know, getting a website up, getting the domain, getting an email, getting your CRM, your customer relationship managing tool. You need, websites, videos, a payment processor. You need systems, so standard operating procedures for your staff. You need all sorts of things. These are the things a brand new business owner hasn't got a clue about and hasn't got the resources or the experience in doing. Now, I'm a nobody from Norwich, but those basic hurdles are not a hurdle for me anymore. They are literally just an afterthought that we can nail in like a few hours. So, whereas for most people, they'll be floundering around for months trying to nail all of that stuff. So, but everyone has different hurdles. Like for me, I can't say too much. All I'm going to say is I'm setting up a factory. Well, we're very close to setting up a factory soon. Like, there are huge hurdles for me in setting up a factory. Whereas, how much of a hurdle is setting up a small factory for Elon Musk? He'll freaking do that in his sleep. Whereas for me, this is a big hurdle. So I'm constantly going through massive learning phases as I go through life. So
you don't normally like co-owned businesses, do you, Simon?
Sorry?
You don't normally like co-owned businesses, do you?
No, I don't. I've said from day one, never ever have a 50-50 business with anyone. And what I've basically done is married Steve. So the thing, so it's a very good point. The reason being is I've seen too many times where you know people have jumped into bed with each other 50-50, and then they break up, and then all of a sudden they have directed deadlock where they can't agree and move forward on an issue, and the company then has to be wound down. The way that you get rid of that potential tail risk of a company deadlock is you've got to nail that shag. You absolutely have to nail it in terms of the shareholders agreement. And part of that shareholders agreement is that in terms of staff, or you tend to see in a company like a hierarchy, the C-suite, then the operational stuff, and then the ground floor, etc. So instead of having that, you have spheres of accountability. And spheres of accountability look a bit like this. So obviously the director, the sphere of accountability is the whole freaking business, right? Every mistake that happens in a business is the director's fault. But if you're like, I don't know, let's say you're the absolute lowest rung of a business, I don't know, whatever it may be, that will be your sphere of accountability, right? But in order to mitigate holes, mistakes slipping through the holes, etc., you always need overlaying spheres of accountability. So a colleague should also be somewhat in your sphere of accountability, so that way there's always two eyes. But then your upline manager will also have an eye on that, and then that person's upline will have, so that way if there's any pernicious rogue errors that are trying to infiltrate the business, they're going to be caught by at least 3 people, or should. So you have spheres of accountability. So let's say you're co-directing it with, or co-owning and co-directing, blah blah blah. A director, one of the shareholders could be the director, and another equal shareholder could be the COO or chief of the board or whatever. But let's say take Steve and I in a business. If there's anything accounting related, guess who has the final say so? Steve. If anyone has a trading or an investment trade issue, and who has the final say? I have the final say. So here, let's take Golden Geese, the business that we have. I guess it's a bit like that. We have, we chat with each other about everything, but I will have final say over here, he'll have final say over here, blah blah blah. So you've got to absolutely nail that shareholders agreement.
What do you do about decisions that don't fall on either side of those? So, for example, general business making decisions.
You just got to, at the end of the day, you are basically getting married. If you're going into business with someone, you are getting married. And just like in a marriage, you don't list all the things that you can and can't do with your kids or whatever. It's just you have a chat. And yeah, you will argue. There's no married couple on the planet that hasn't had an argument. And it will happen in business. I haven't had an argument with Steve yet, but it's inbound. We both know it. But we both know that logic is our overriding religion. Because we think along the same lines. There's been many times in my life where I've had such a strong opinion on something, and then someone goes, Simon, that's quite illogical because blah, blah, blah. And it stops me in my tracks. I go, oh, shit. I've been illogical. And you will beat me at any argument if you have a more logical reason than whatever my stance was. I will always back down. And I think that's a good way to live in life, by having some overriding principle that, is your guiding light, your compass. And for me, logic is my compass. If you can out-logic me on an issue, I will agree with you, despite my personal feelings may not want that. Does that make sense?
It is basically a marriage, I suppose, isn't it? Because you've got to discuss it and come to some form of compromise to come to a decision, really, isn't it?
A firm, definitely. Number 2, did you ever...